Hello, Aquarius. Saturn is retrograde in the sign of Scorpio to Scorpion until the 2nd of August, and then will go direct, also in Scorpio. And Uranus is retrograde in Aries all through the month of August. Now let's see how your ruling planets of Saturn and Uranus affect you this month, Aquarius. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your guardian angel, Raphael, the divine physician, who rules over all the air signs, and your specific Aquarius angel, Cambriel, who resides over your fixed air nature. And these are his messages for you in love, money, and health. Okay, first we're going to go through the love transmission. And just a heads up also, we're going to give you a little formula at the end of the transmission in the afterglow part where we go over the planetary aspects and the astrological facets. We're going to go over a little sort of formula and get, where Saturn is in Scorpio direct on the 3rd, and Uranus is in Aries retrograde. So, and we're going to give you sort of the answer to that little formula, just to make it interesting. Alright, so stay tuned for that. Okay, first, then the love transmission. Okay, romance this month is going to actually be very good for you, Aquarius, but you're not going to rush into anything. So, romance, you may have felt that it was going backwards because Saturn retrograde in Scorpio, and Scorpio, as I create, that rules over a lot of your sexual life, that kind of thing. So, and Aries Uranus being retrograde in Aries, that's your will, to push your will forward. So you see how you may have felt that you're going backwards in your goals for love. And there's a lot of restrictions being placed on people by just the people that you're dealing with, or society at large. But really, one can blame society at large for one's love life, if they want to. But really, one's love life has to do with very personal issues, and your personal relationship with others, and how others may use society's laws and mores, or religious laws and mores, to either protect themselves. And this is all due to a great big lack of trust. So now that Saturn is going to begin to move forward, still Uranus is going to be retrograde, and that causes people sort of all or nothing behavior. So that's not so restrictive, and it'll stop things from, maybe going too fast, which is not a bad thing. So, and it's this Aries situation where Uranus is retrograde that is going to cause you to not be rash, to hold back a little bit, and say, well, let's look at this, and let's look at this. You're trying to make sure, when it comes to the people who you're involved with romantically, you want to make sure that they are who they say they are. You want to make sure, and then the problem is this, and people feel this about you, and it's true for everyone, but just understand that because you're very intelligent and your mind is very expansive, and you have a lot of options in the area of romance, even though you don't think you do. So because of all these various aspects, once you have someone, you sort of don't really think they count anymore. So it's not that you don't have options, it's that the people who actually are options, you don't count them. So you say, I don't have anybody, when actually you do. So you understand that's because you want somebody new. You want a challenge. You don't want someone that's so easy to win over. And you don't want someone that's so easy to sort of just dominate. You want someone who is a challenge and able to keep you guessing and be difficult. And that's when you're miserable, but you're also happy, because that's when you feel like you're playing the game of love. And again, if it doesn't hurt, it's not frustrating, how do you know you're dealing with love? You think it's just friendship. If it doesn't hurt, and if it's not exceedingly frustrating, you think it's just friendship. And this is true for everybody, or family. So, this is the area where you are not alone in this. Obviously, everybody does this in matters of love. Some people do it more than others, but the masculine signs of the zodiac, of fire and air, tend to do that more than the feminine signs of the zodiac that are water and earth. So, you understand that the more feminine the sign, the more they will tend to appreciate their relationships. And the more masculine the sign, the more they will tend to not appreciate their tried and true relationships, the more they'll want something different. We're not talking about men and women. We're talking about fire, water, air, and earth aspects of people. Okay? So that's what's going on. So things are moving forward, and you're not going to be rash, but just understand that you don't want to hold back so much that you make it so that you cannot have any possibility of relationship. So you're going to start to see things move forward. You might get a little scared, but that'll make it fun for you. Okay, now the new moon on the 14th is in Leo, and that will give you the ability to say no. It gives other people the ability to say no too. Now, again, those who are the closest to a fire sign, those who are fire signs, which are the closest to the Yud principle, and Yud He Vav He, those people are more masculine in the way they deal with people. So they're going to be able to say no easier. And then air would be next in that equation of masculinity, and they would be able to say no easier than water and earth signs. And of course, as we go to water, less easy to say no, and finally earth, it's hard for them to say no. During this particular new moon in Leo event on the 14th. This is not all the time. All right? This is on that day, and during that sort of 3 days of darkness, that new moon phase. All right? And the time around that. You know how it's like a ripple in a pond. You drop the stone in and it ripples out. All right. On the 29th, full moon in Pisces, that's going to make you and other people, luckily, happily, more efficient. Now, this will make water signs more efficient, and they will assist earth signs greatly, and earth signs will be much more efficient as they absorb the generosity of water signs. You see here, air signs will do better than fire signs. And be even, more efficient, and fire signs will not be so efficient because of this. So you see how you have to see exactly what you're dealing with at any one given time. That's on the 29th. That's the full moon in Pisces. Right now, for Cambriel's money transmission for you, Aquarius, work and business become creative again. That's because of that Saturn going direct in Scorpio on the 2nd. But because of the Uranus retrograde in Aries still in effect during August, you're going to have situations where you're going to tend to second guess yourself. Because you think, oh, I can be creative and I can do this and I can do this and I can do that and I can do this and all these ideas. And you'll be able to do that, and you should write them down and brainstorm them, but you will hold back, and you will, hold back isn't quite what you'll do here. You'll second guess yourself and say, oh, maybe I should have done that. So perhaps right here what you need to do is, because you're air sign, and even though you're fixed air, so it's not so bad, don't be so quick to let go of something that may be a good idea, and if you let it go too quickly, then you didn't give it a chance, kind of a thing, which fire and air signs are guilty of, but you're, again, fixed air, so you're not so guilty of that as some of your more, mutable air aspects like the Gemini people who change their mind more quickly, or Libra that tends to be, I have an idea, but maybe they don't carry it through quite so well as you do. Okay, so just understand yourself when it comes to those kinds of things in August. Now, Cambriel's health transmission, okay, even with the internal naysayer telling you that you need to just quit, and that even with that internal naysayer that tells you to quit trying to help your health or to improve your health. Because there's an internal naysayer, and that's the very definition of the opposer or Satan, who tells you, no, you should quit. You should quit. Anybody that tells you, no, you should quit, you should quit, you should stop, that's Satan. According to the Zohar, that's Satan. Okay? So anybody that says that, that's your opponent that God sent you. That's God's left hand. God's right hand encourages you. God's left hand gives you pain and telling you to quit, telling you you're no good, telling you you're not good enough, telling you you can never get well, all these things. That's Satan, but that's God's left hand for the purpose of building up your soul with the carrot and the stick mentality. So of course you can heal yourself. Of course you can. Because if God, the good, is in charge of everything, then all things work to good for those who love God and serve His purpose. So just, if you listen to the naysayers, of course you're not going to get well. One time, while doing a consultation with someone, they asked me that if they kept smoking, would they get sick? And if they quit smoking, would they get well? And of course, the consultation showed that they would get well and remain healthy if they were already getting sick. The lungs were difficult. That they would become healthy if they quit smoking. And that if they kept smoking, they would get a disease. That's not that hard to figure out. We would say it's not rocket science, but rocket science is just blowing things up and aiming it at things and getting more precise at doing that. That's really all it is. So why is that so hard? I understand, but you understand what I'm saying. So, anything that you make more and more precise becomes something that's respected. So what you need to do is just use common sense. Obviously, if you do things that are healthy and start going in a healthy direction, you'll get well. If you do things that are unhealthy, and you'll go in an unhealthy direction. It's up to you. You have that free will that God gives you. However, with that said, God wants your highest good, and it's getting to the point where God will move you in the direction of health, perhaps against your own will. And that could be something that you come across in August. So to get you ready to get well and deal with your health, it's not something, and understand this, anything you fight against, you cannot win. You have to just understand it as part of life, as part of see what it is in the cycle. Again, I call it, where you don't feel like a victim, any kind of injury or disease can be healed. The more you feel like a victim, it's my philosophy, the more you feel like a victim, the more you're going to have your circumstance go in an unhealthy direction. Whereas the more you feel and you take responsibility, and you step out of the victim-victimizer syndrome, and you take responsibility for your own health, then that's when health can be found in anything. Because the body creates stem cells to rebuild and white blood cells to fight, infection. So the body has a way to help it, but you have to work with your body. You have to give it some encouragement. If you constantly discourage your body, it will get discouraged and give up, and then you're Satan to your body. So understand that. Okay? Okay. We had a lot of questions from Aquarius individuals who were pretending that they weren't Aquarius. We understand. A lot of people say that they're a sign when they're not a sign. You understand. All right. It was an Aquarius. Okay. Now we're going to go into, you know what? You know what we should do first? Just right now, stop with the shallow chest breathing and get into your abdominal breathing. Like you did when you were a baby. Breathe from your abdomen. Slow, gentle, abdominal breathing, where trust in the divine all comes back into your body. And focus on the breath going into the abdomen. And that will calm you down and put you back into what they call in Rosicrucian Kabbalah the babe, which is the crown chakra. Breathe into your abdominal, the lower abdomen. Not the third chakra, more into the lower abdomen, the second chakra. Second chakra, abdominal breathing. And you'll feel more at peace and you'll have more trust. All right, now we'll get to the planetary aspects and facets. Okay, we'll go over this again. Saturn is retrograde in Scorpio until the 2nd, and then we'll go after that. On the 2nd, we'll go direct in Scorpio. Things will start to move forward, but you have to move them forward in a positive direction. Accentuate positive things and productive, constructive things in your life that are healthy. All right? On the 3rd, Jupiter squares Saturn, and that's what we're going to do at the end of this, a little formula we're going to give you. Because Jupiter in Leo direct, square Saturn in Scorpio direct, it's a little formula. We'll give you the answer to that at the end of this, at the end of the afterglow. Okay, on the 5th, Venus squares Saturn, and Venus is currently retrograde. On the 6th, Mars trines Saturn. On the 6th, Mercury squares Saturn. On the 12th, Sirius sextile Saturn. That's the Divine Mother. And then on the 21st, Sun squares Saturn and Mercury sextile Saturn on the 26th. Okay, for Uranus. Uranus is retrograde in Aries during August, the whole month. On the 2nd, Mercury is trine Uranus retrograde. The 13th, Sun trine Uranus retrograde. On the 19th, Venus retrograde trine Uranus retrograde. On the 20th, Mercury in conjunct Uranus retrograde. Okay, now the formula we're going to do is that one on the 3rd. The Jupiter in Leo direct, and Saturn in Scorpio is direct on that day. Because it goes direct on the 2nd. So Saturn and Scorpio direct. So this square between these two it creates a formula. All right. So the answer we got for this was generosity attempts to override new laws, trying to bypass laws, because of feelings of entitlement. So this is obvious. This is like people try to buy their way through people's restrictions, like, oh, if I give you this much money, I'm sure I can get through all your laws and all your, like people's integrity is easy to break down. You just throw enough money at them and they'll do anything. That's not really the case anymore. Because people have gotten to the point where their integrity means more to them than money that can be thrown at them, because money's, at this point, if it's not earned in a way that has respect and personal boundaries and integrity associated with it, It's not worth it. And more people are feeling that way. Of course, everybody doesn't feel like that, and no, I'm not sure it's even a majority of people, but there's a lot of people that would do anything for money, and there's people who won't. And then then there's people who get together and make their own coinage, like, what is there, Bitcoin and things like that. I'm not promoting or saying anything bad or good about that. I'm just using it as an example. Okay, so don't quote me that I said this or that about Bitcoin. I'm using it as an example. Okay. So we'll let that go there. That's what that means. That's on the 3rd of August. Okay. Thank you for joining us, Aquarius. I'm Pastor Rosamond, Astrology Angel, and join us again next month.